forging of Ogun, the birth of the god of war, iron, and labor. Before the cities stood tall, before the sword met the shield, before man could shape the earth with fire and stone, there was one who walked with thunder in his hands, a god of iron, of war, of work. His name was Ogun. Right now we open the gates to an ancient path, where myth meets metal and gods walk among men. As you watch, tell us, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your country or city in the comments. And if this story grips your spirit, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mythical Journey HQ for more tales from the shadows of forgotten gods. Ogun is not just a myth. Many people still revere him in traditional religion and in Afro-Caribbean religions like Santeria and Candomblé. So invoking his name as a curse carries spiritual weight, especially in traditional settings. In the beginning, before the world had been tamed, before cities rose from the earth and tools were forged in the heat of fire, the world was a chaotic and untamed place. The skies were wild with storms, the land was dark and dangerous, and the creatures that roamed the earth were as fierce as they were mysterious. The people lived in fear, for the beasts of the wild were many, and they had no way to defend themselves. They were at the mercy of nature, their lives subject to the whims of the winds, the rivers, and the forests. But in this time of darkness, a god was born, Ogun, the god of war, iron, and labor. His birth was no ordinary event, for it marked the beginning of a new age. Ogun was the son of Olokun, the great god of the sea, and a powerful spirit of the forest, whose form had long been a mighty tree. From the moment Ogun was born, the earth itself seemed to tremble, for he was destined to shape the world, to bring both destruction and creation. Ogun's skin was like iron, his muscles like the trunks of ancient trees. He was born with the strength of 1,000 men, and even as a child, he showed an unmatched mastery over the forces of nature. Where other children played, Ogun worked. He could shape trees with a mere touch, turning them into tools, weapons, and structures. The ground would tremble when Ogun walked, as if the earth recognized him as its master. The call of destiny. As Ogun grew, so too did the troubles of the world. The people, despite their strength, were weak in one essential way. They had no tools, no weapons to defend themselves, and no way to shape the earth. They were helpless against the forces of nature and the wild beasts that roam freely. One day, as Ogun walked through the forests, he heard the cries of the people. Their villages were under attack, their homes burned to the ground by wild beasts, and they had no way to protect themselves. The gods watched from the heavens, but it was Ogun who felt the call of destiny. He knew then that it was time to act. Ogun sought counsel from his father Olokun, the god of the sea, and asked him what he should do. Olokun, from the deep waters, spoke in a voice that rumbled like thunder. "Ogun, my son, it is time for you to fulfill your destiny. You must go to the great mountain where the earth's iron lies buried. There you will forge the weapons that the people need. You will create the tools to shape the land, to defend the people, and to carve order out of the chaos." The creation of Iron Ogun, hearing his father's words, set off immediately for the great mountain of iron. The journey was long and arduous, and the path was filled with danger. But Ogun was fearless, for he knew his strength and his purpose. He reached the mountain, and there, in the heart of the earth, he found the iron, the metal of power, of strength, and of war. The ore lay deep beneath the earth, cold and lifeless, waiting for someone worthy to awaken its power. Ogun raised his mighty arms and struck the earth with all his might. His fists collided with the stone, sending shock waves through the land. Sparks flew from the cracks in the mountain, and the ground split open. The earth trembled as if it too had recognized the arrival of Ogun. With every strike, fire began to rise from the cracks in the earth, and the molten rivers of iron began to flow like the lifeblood of the world itself. The heavens watched in awe as Ogun danced upon the mountain, his feet stamping the earth with such force that flames leapt into the sky. The sky itself seemed to bow to Ogun, for he was the master of both iron and fire. The earth had never known such power, and the gods looked down from their lofty abodes, seeing Ogun's work unfolding before their very eyes. The first weapon with his hands, Ogun shaped the iron. He hammered and molded it, bending the metal to his will. From the iron, he created the first tools and weapons, the sharpest blades ever forged, the strongest shields and the plows that would allow the people to till the land and harvest their crops. With every strike of the hammer, and molded it, bending the metal to his will. From the iron, he created the first tools and weapons, the sharpest blades ever forged, the strongest shields and the plows that would allow the people to till the land and harvest their crops. With every strike of the hammer, Ogun imbued the metal with his essence, for the iron was now a part of him. It was not just a tool of destruction, but of creation, of labor, and of strength. When Ogun's work was done, he stood before the mountain, his eyes shining with the fire of creation. The first weapons of mankind were born, strong enough to protect, to conquer, and to shape the earth. With these tools, the people would be able to build, to fight, and to survive. Ogun in the First War. It was not long before Ogun's weapons were put to the test. A great beast, half lion, half dragon, appeared in the village. Its roar shook the heavens, and its fire threatened to consume the land. The people were helpless, their wooden spears and crude tools no match for the creature's strength. Fear spread like wildfire through the villages. The people cried out to the gods for help, but it was Ogun who heard their cries. He took his mighty sword, the blade forged from the heart of the mountain, and set out to face the beast. The creature waited for him in the forest, its eyes glowing with an unnatural fire. The battle was fierce. The beast charged, its claws raking the earth, and Ogun met it with the full fury of his strength. The clash of iron against beast echoed through the forest, the sound like thunder. Ogun fought for days, his sword flashing in the moonlight, his muscles burning with the fire of battle. The ground shook with each blow, and the gods watched in silence, knowing that the outcome of this battle would determine the fate of the people. At last, with a mighty roar, Ogun struck the beast down. The creature fell, its lifeblood spilling upon the earth. The people cheered, for Ogun had saved them. His strength and his weapons had proven invincible. From that day forward, Ogun became known as the protector of the people, the god of war, and the god of iron. Ogun's gift to mankind. But Ogun was not just a god of war. He was also a god of labor, of creation, and of strength. He had forged the first tools for the people, and now he showed them how to use them. He taught them how to forge metal, how to build, how to plow the earth, and how to defend themselves against the forces of chaos. With Ogun's guidance, the people learned to work the land, to build strong homes, and to create the tools they needed for survival. His teachings were passed down through generations, and his influence grew. Every blacksmith, every warrior, every laborer who worked with iron carried Ogun's spirit within them. His gifts were the foundation of civilization itself, the legacy of Ogun. And so it was that Ogun became more than just a god of war. He became the god of labor, of industry, and of strength. His name was called upon in times of battle, but also in times of construction and creation. Every hammer that struck metal, every sword drawn in battle, every plow turned in the field was a tribute to Ogun. His essence flowed through the veins of those who toiled, who fought for justice, and who worked to shape the world around them. Ogun, the god of iron, war, and labor, watches over those who work with their hands, who fight for what is right, and who use their strength to build a better world. He reminds us that both destruction and creation are necessary forces in life, and through toil, we can carve out our own path in the world.